Hello, and welcome to episode 225 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
Jeff, how are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Doing good. Sleepy. Very sleepy.
I'm a little sleepy too. I've still got to figure out how in the world I'm gonna handle sleep the next 24 hours.
Oh shoot! That's tell the people what you're doing.
Yeah, I work tomorrow. I'm doing an overnight shift. I go in at 9 p.m. and apparently working to 5 a.m. is what I am scheduled for. So that's going to be fun.
Those are not good human hours.
Yeah,
Those are degenerate hours.
So I've been trying, honestly, not as hard as I should, or maybe I don't need to try hard, I don't know, to figure out what's the best way for me to sleep between now and then.
Still don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. So I feel less just dead. At least I'm
I don't know if to tell you that you should already be asleep right now or if you should stay up till 5 a.m. I really don't know what to tell you. I'm not sure.
I feel like the 5 a.m. route's probably what I'm going to end up going with.
It probably is stay up really late tonight, sleep all freaking day tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Well, anyway, this podcast, surprisingly is not about our sleep schedules.
What?
I mean, it could be. I mean, we could go for we could go for an hour. Do you want to go for an hour?
Well, you see, the last couple. Yeah.
Oh no, we have some games to talk about. We got some gaming news. We got some good shit. Jeff has some surprise for me. I'm interested. But before we get into all that bullshit, I'm going to talk about a game that I beat like a freaking month ago and honest to God, forgot to mention in the last podcast. And that's our first game in our game talk is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Is it Marvel's? Is Marvel's in the front of this one too? Like it was Marvel's Spider-Man. Is the official name of this one Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy?
Probably.
And that's not the assurance that I wanted, Jeff.
I assume so.
Yeah, I played through Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Beat it, several weeks ago. I kind of forgot to mention because I beat it very slowly because I was playing it with my sister. So it was just in 1.5 hour chunks for several months. It was it took a long time. But I did roll credits and it was quite good, Jeff.
Yeah.
It was quite a good video game. Definitely not without its flaws. I have some very big flaws with it, but I had a very good time.
Good.
I think it's completely its biggest strength. It's the thing that it hangs its entire hat on is the story and those characters. That is the game.
And I don't think that's a surprise to you, going through it, considering that's all anyone talked about. Even the stuff I know some of your issues, and I'm sure other ones you haven't even mentioned to me yet. They're easy to guess because they're probably the ones that everyone, whether they loved or hated or did not like the game, had.
I think this is the perfect example of why it's kind of boring and bad practice to just completely write off everything that's not like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 or something. Because this is something that's easy swimming in sevens overall, but it is very, very delightful and has so much charm and good qualities to it within the bad. It's messy. It's there's a lot of areas that it could have been a lot better, but it is absolutely a very fun experience. And it's a hard game to completely talk about because it is two different things. The gameplay, I will get into the gameplay. I really didn't like it overall. It especially got worse and worse as it went on. But the story and the characters were more than enough to take me through it to the point where I've said to you and multiple other people have said it's not even a question at this point. This is my preferred Guardians cast.
Yeah.
Between the only two, this is the second one I've ever known. The only other one I've known is the MCU. But yeah, I mean, it's not even do I do? No, I do. I do like this cast more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's something. Again, you're not alone. I feel the same, and bring up just because of how the game is with that initial showing and everything was oh, this game is trash, just straight up trash all the way around. Yeah. A lot of it was the actual talking and everything, story moments and cutscenes they showed were the original reason people were not high on the
Yeah, yeah.
Trailers.
And I mean, I remember like being somewhat underwhelmed by those trailers, but I don't know if I thought it was like as bad as everyone said. But like, I'd be interested to go back and see that marketing and just like see how I feel about it now. But I mean, it's a game that was like the longer I sat with it, the more it's like you just can't help but like it. You know, you just can't help but be very endeared by the characters, and it's just I think part of the reason why you grow so fond of that cast is just the sheer amount of time you spend with them, and they let it breathe as far as their dialogue and everything, because like they never shut up in a good way.
Yeah.
I mean, but they are jabbing the entire game. There's so many voice lines for how relatively short this game is.
Yeah, and luckily the voice cast is so strong overall.
Really strong, really strong. And like, I learned a lot about like Guardians lore that I still right now have questions about in the MCU or whatever. I learned so much more than I have.
Yeah, like
in the
for example,
MCU
I'm sure I know I mentioned it to you, but now you have context. So it's like, I don't know if you remember Adam Warlock. If people don't know, is a big character in this game. Is going to be in the upcoming movie.
Gotcha.
And Cosmo as well.
Hell yes, please. I fucking love Cosmo.
Of course.
But I also just loved it, like, somehow, like, if you had said before this game that it's like they add in like almost every Guardians villain and side character, like they're all in this one game, I'd be like, that's probably going to be a bad thing. They're probably going to try to shove too much in this game and not be able to do it. I think they somehow were able to kitchen sink this thing, but it still felt like it all felt like it made sense. None of it felt forced. Because I think the biggest thing is they just gave the things that needed to be front and center and needed time. They gave them time. And then the other, like some of the other side characters are very memorable and cool, but they're kind of in and they're out. And then it's like, okay, that was a moment. They can exit stage right now. It's like, I think they had a very good concept of which characters should linger on stage, and which characters should be a cameo.
I think the side character who's there a lot of the game, I think it's like Mantis, who I really like.
Yes,
she is great. I think if I remember right, correct me if I'm remembering some of this wrong, I think they did it right where they're, because obviously in MCU Mantis is weird, but they up her weirdness in this.
It is a different type of weird.
Yeah. It's like they kind of sprinkle her in the beginning and then just kind of get you somewhat used to her. She's kind of away for a bit, and then she comes back and she's with you for a while.
That was one of me, my sister, and my brother-in-law's like favorite kind of, not even narrative arcs, so it was arcs of ourself, because like at first we were like, man, this just seems really weird and not really like the funny weird, like she's just weird. And then when she comes back and there's a chapter later on where she's heavily in it, at first we all said like, I don't really think this is the first time I don't think I like their interpretation of a character. It was like, I just don't really get her. Like, I don't really like her. And it was literally like 15 minutes later. It was like 10 minutes later, we laughed at one joke, then we laughed harder at the next joke, and then we burst out laughing at the third joke. It's like, okay, maybe I like I think I like it actually.
A little fuzzy.
I mean, this has to be one of all the video games I've played, one of the most actual like burst out laughing, like there are so many moments that we still quote and everything. Not that video games can never do that, but
yeah,
I don't have nearly as many. I have more movies and TV shows that have like true comedy. This is like, there's funny video games. This is a comedy video game, and it's like that is its first foot forward, And yeah, I think it's a very
well. I think it's even from a comedy standpoint of compared to other games that people consider like really funny and stuff. It's a lot of games that are just pure comedies. They may not have a bunch of like narrative, like emotional beats. And I'd say this, and also one of my other favorite games last year, or my favorite game last year, Psychonauts 2, were also kind of similar, where the comedy's there, but it also has a strong emotional core with the characters.
Right? Yeah, it's not just like crazy slapstick bullshit or whatever.
It's not like High on Life,
right? Which is perfectly fine to have those two different things. But yeah, I mean, it's very. I mean, it obviously this game takes a lot of cues from the MCU. Clearly, I mean, it does, but it's like I think it takes it to another step when it comes to specifically narrative and stuff. Just because, like, they don't have to be beholden to like any timetable. It's like you really get to kind of live in with these characters.
I think they use it smart. It's like they use the like, okay, we know probably anyone playing this game has watched the the MCU movies
for sure
for this, so we're just going to use that as a bouncing off point for as like the basic dressing of their basic character things and go off into the more comic booky crazy stuff.
They definitely kind of assume that you kind of know everyone's origin story to some degree, and it's like they kind of do the modern Spider-Man thing,
broad strokes of
broad strokes. They kind of do the modern Spider-Man thing where it's like we're gonna skip some of this shit, and then we're gonna like unveil some of this later.
Also, like they just kind of throw us nonchalantly about Peter's parentage.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Like, well, that's the thing we know.
Yeah. It was cool. But I mean, like, Peter, I felt like from the MCU, I got a good bit of. It was like everyone else, it's like, I know so much more about their characters now than I did before. It was like, it was like, in just so many cool ways. And even like these little throwaway lines, it was like, ooh, that's really interesting. It's like, you got this. And
it's like once you know something's coming up where stop the talking, you're like, okay, I got to take the controller down real quick.
Yeah,
I can't risk it.
There was a few that I cut off on accident. I'm like, damn it. No. Yeah. But like, because you're like, okay, y'all done talking? Okay, stop. Oh, you weren't done talking. Damn it.
Damn it, Rocky.
I could see some people said the talking got too much for them. I could see it. I never got there because like that was what I was hanging my hat on. That was the reason why I enjoyed the game. Because I do feel like we've talked for a while. I hate to do it. I don't want to be too negative, but I do have to talk about I just think the gameplay, like, it's not that it was at its core bad, like, completely awful from its core.
Very basic.
It's very basic, and the game is too long for how basic it is. And I wouldn't say it gets quite to the level that some bad games I've played get to, but it does get to that level where it's like, okay, the combat is as complex as it's ever going to be, so now our answer for difficulty is to just throw swarm after swarm after swarm after swarm of you. That's always a red flag that, like, okay, you don't have any more ideas. You're out of ideas, so this is the only thing you have left is just Control got like that to a way worse degree by the there's many examples. Hellblade was another one that was like, okay, you're out of ideas, so you're just spamming enemies and it's annoying. And that's definitely where I got with this, and it was just like, it's a very cinematic combat system thing, but like not in a cool way. It's just the like, you press this button, you're gonna like see a flashy thing that was like cool the first time, but when you're doing it the 50th time, it's just like nothing really evolves, nothing changes that much. And I didn't feel like, even when I got new abilities for all the Guardians, they were all kind of different forms of attacking / stunning people.
Yeah.
Like, they really, like, I never got excited at all when I got a new ability for them. It's just a new button I'm going to spam every now and then to kind of do the same thing. It was like, I never really felt like it's like, ooh, I'm using this person to do this person to do that. Like, there's a little bit of that, but you know what I mean? There's not this, like, kind of cool strategic, like, Final Fantasy VII remake type of thing. It's like, that's the closest analogous I can think to a battle system, and it's just like, nothing like that as far as like entertainment factor for me. I was okay with like the linearness and stuff of the game. I prefer that or whatever. Like, some of the environments were all really pretty. I don't think they were the most interesting navigating and exploring, but again, I was okay with that. Okay, I'm just listening to the story. It was mostly just the combat sections. By the end, I'm like, okay, okay, hello, hey, we had some technical difficulties. Rough. I do not think we lost very much though.
It didn't look like it based on the timer.
No, when I heard it was like, the combat's not the best. It could be a lot better, but it didn't ruin the game for me. That's the gist of it. Did you feel similar? Because you also haven't really talked about this. Did you talk about this game? You probably did back when you played it. Yeah.
I can't remember how much of it was just solely goatee talk or what. I didn't play it close to the end of the year. I remember that much, but yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But I still highly recommend. I want a sequel. Yes. I don't know if we're gonna get one, but I want one.
Yeah. Well, story at least was like, okay. You got some bouncing off points.
Yeah. You can do it. You can do a lot with it. The universe is very expansive, and they open up a lot of threads and stuff. It also could end, and it could be okay, but but I do want more.
Yeah, especially recommended because I think it's on Game Pass right now currently if that wasn't taken off, and it's just a lot of sales and cheap and stuff. Definitely worth it.
Especially if you're like, because you listener, there's a good chance that you're gonna have you're gonna be annoyed at some point playing this game, because I think the combat is just a little obnoxious. So especially if you can get this game for cheap, then I think you're gonna feel it's an easy recommend if you're not getting it full price. If you're getting it full, I still think it's worth it full price. But if it's like $30 or less or something, that's an easy recommend for me.
I got it for like 20 back in November, so
yeah, it's an easy recommend at that point. Jeff,
sure.
Tell me about them digital monsters, though.
The monsters that are digital.
Those are the ones.
Yep. Yeah, I played more Digimon Survive. Got a lot more done. For people who know what's going on in the game, and have played it. For reference, I'm in the middle of chapter 6. So as far as I know, I'm like half-ish way done through, I guess, a first playthrough.
You gotcha.
Yeah, because there are different routes. So luckily for me, I've looked and see without like really spoiling stuff. Like, okay, what's the branching off point? And it comes down to like a choice at some point. I think in chapter 8-ish, based on what your alignment is with the 3 different things. Because I think I mentioned last time, the choices is a lot of times just make your numbers go up as far as like being wrathful, moral, or harmony, or whatever.
Right.
And I think at that point, your two highest ones at that point in time, you can choose to go the route. So it's like, oh, so I get there, make them all relatively close, save at that point, and then I can just easily go back.
That's always good. Always good. Always good.
Yeah, and right now I got all 3 points very close together, so I'm just saving at this point pretty periodically, so I can just go back slightly further back, so I can get that third one that's the lowest at the time to the second highest, so it becomes available.
So you're planning to do all 3 of these?
I am. Yes, we'll see how long it takes me to do or when to, because there's also the true route, the true ending, which is the 4th one, and I will have to replay it all.
Nah.
But it will be on New Game Plus, where my monsters will be super powerful, so I'm actually able to bulldoze my way through it.
Well, are you enjoying this enough to where that sounds right now like a okay task?
Yes.
Good.
It is pretty awesome and pretty brutal.
I've heard.
I've had characters die. And I think I mentioned this, I think pre-launch I saw something about it, but I have seen it now, where on the home screen, or the main menu screen, when you first launch it, throughout the game, as you got more kids in your party, they like got added onto the main menu, and then when they died, they got removed. It's like, oh, that's that. Just I'm pretty open. It's like, hey, so you did this.
So if you is there like the worst ending or something? Can you just kill everyone and just empty main screen?
I have absolutely no idea.
I wonder how empty you could get that main screen to be.
So I think based on these chapters, or the way with the different endings do, I think right now the characters that have died, I had no way to save them. Nothing I did. That's just the way it is until getting to the true ending. So I imagine that's the way it's going to go. Is depending which route I take will influence how other characters.
So there's no permadeath like in battle or anything like that, right? It's all like choices, right?
Yeah. I've had Digimon die in battle, and then I'm able to use them next time. Yeah.
But as far, I mean, this is another game. Speaking of games, they are like story first and foremost. I mean, that is this game, right? Yeah, it's like so the most of your time is spent visual novel, right?
Yes, you're doing all that, going around talking to people and figuring out like how the kids handling all this stuff. Spoiler alert, not well. I've seen a couple psychotic
It's PTSD simulator.
Yeah. And it's just getting worse now that they've seen multiple. The kids left alive seen multiple of their friends die.
So is this straight up like an adult game? Like, have they ditched any like this is a kids thing, or is it one of those that still maybe for kids?
Based on I think it's still being played by like older kids to like early teens and still be fine. They might be like, at least so far I might play for 1 scene in particular that could be a little much depending on you. That feels a little more graphic. But general vibes and everything, it is probably the most adult Digimon thing that I have experienced. But it's not like full on rated M or whatever stuff. It's, it just kind of takes it up a notch. It's just more serious. But like, I'm talking about kids not taking things well and having PTSD like symptoms and all that kind of stuff, and actually having breakdowns. Like in the anime, some kids are just don't deal with the being in a other world with monsters as well, but it's not to this degree. It's more like, oh, this sucks, and they're just kind of a little whiny.
Right.
But it's like, man, yeah. It's okay, kid. I can understand why you're crying for your mom.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. I mean, how is the strategy part of it? Is it?
It's fun. I think it's nothing like spectacular, but I think it's pretty serviceable. And it's not hard per se, but it's not as turn your brain off easy as like a lot of the Fire Emblem games are. At least the way they do that, they kind of limit yourself more because in the like Fire Emblem, you can usually like starting midpoint have almost 10 characters on the map.
Right.
The section I just had, they limited me to, hey, you can only have 4 party members right now. And that kind of can limit you because there are 3 like main types of Digimon that has like a little type triangle thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on the enemy's output, you might give yourself an advantage or disadvantage depending on what you choose. And sometimes, depending on the story, you're like, oh, you have to use these Digimon. So you might be in a bad situation just based on what type they are.
Okay.
So even if like again the hardest thing, it's like, well, if you completely mess up, you easily see how you could die.
Good enough not to be a direct deterrent like 13 Sentinels was.
Mm-hmm. And just kind of collecting and digivolving Digimon is fun.
Nice.
It has that little thing going on.
Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't get old. That would be the biggest, I think, avenue to this game being a little disappointing in some ways or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like the way that will get old is when I go through the separate routes because, once I go through the first time, because the Digimon through the story will continue to evolve, so it just kind of has that going on for it. Yeah. But then when I reset it 2 or 3, like once or twice, like, okay, well, I'm seeing these evolutions again.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, I know these Digimon work, so I'm just getting.
They should, especially when you're doing a second playthrough, they should just recognize that and be like, hey, you just want to skip these.
Well, at least based on what it seems, that to me doing the 3 quote unquote main routes, that's easy enough to do. Like I said, because I've heard people say it's very clear. Like this is the point of no.
Save your game.
Yeah, this is the branching point.
Yeah.
It's just the true route, which, based on what I'm assuming it is, you kind of have to. If it involves the characters that I've already had not dying, you can't. You can't do that for that. And at that point, well, that's my choice to play it through it again.
No, it is. Yeah. We'll cross that road when you get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably one of those things I'll probably at least get through a route or two, kind of head on, especially, pretty quickly, or relatively quickly. I know I got Xenoblade going on as well. So, but then slow down at some point that hopefully get through all that stuff at some point. Yeah. Just based on what I have planned. But overall, if you're into visual novels, I think I can recommend this game anyway. If you're into the anime style visual novels, even if you're not the biggest, you haven't tried Digimon, I think it's worth a try, or at least looking into maybe seeing other reviews.
Do you think this can be an entry point if you've never watched any Digimon anything? You can just jump into this.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
But, they assume at least some bases that you might know what Digimon is, but I don't think it's like a requirement.
Nice.
Yeah, all original characters and all that kind of stuff. So
hell yeah, I can't wait to see where it ranks on your end of year list.
It'll be a weird list.
It's gonna be a weird list.
I got 2 Pokemon games I'm gonna have to beat.
You still haven't beat like half of the bosses in Elden Ring.
Yeah, I need to get back to Elden Ring.
It's getting too long. I'm starting to worry that you're not gonna go back to it at all.
I plan on it.
You say the word, me and Alex will jump back in. We'll jump back in.
I just need that little window of time where I'm free to do it.
Well, you don't give yourself that window, Jeff.
I don't. I just like too many stuff, and Immortality, I think it's called, is on Game Pass. Tinykin's also on Game Pass. Like, I want to play those.
Well, ironically enough, Immortality is the only way that you're going to finish all the games that you want to play, Jeff. That's this.
True. I'm going to gather this Dragon Balls and make that.
Oh, Jeff, let's talk about some news. Hit me with the news, Jingle.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
And your favorite game series to start this off, Jeff?
Yep. The Call of Dudes.
Call of Dudes.
Call of Dudes.
There has to have been like some Call of Duty clan or something. That was the Call of Dudes. Right?
If there, I would bet my life there was. All the people that played this game over this many years, there's no fucking way there hasn't. Okay, let's get to the story. This guy from Christopher Dring from GameIndustry.biz. Microsoft has promised to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation for 3 years beyond the current agreement between Activision and Sony, says PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan. In a statement provided to GameIndustry.biz, Ryan says the offer was inadequate on many levels.
Oh, I missed that. Ooh, shots fired.
Last week, Xbox revealed that it had provided a signed agreement to Sony to guarantee Call of Duty on PlayStation, with feature and content parity for at least several more years beyond Sony's existing contract with Activision. Xbox said this offer goes well beyond typical gaming industry agreements. The current deal between Sony and Activision Blizzard around Call of Duty is believed to have covered the next 3 releases, including this year's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. However, Sony says the offer fails to consider the impact on PlayStation gamers. Quote, I hadn't intended to comment on what I understood to be a private business discussion, but I feel the need to set the record straight because Phil Spencer brought this into the public forum, Ryan stated.
Spicy.
Yep. Microsoft has only offered for Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation for 3 years after the current agreement between Activision and Sony ends. After almost 20 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation, the proposal was inadequate on many levels and failed to take account of the impact on our gamers. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality Call of Duty experience. Microsoft proposal undermines this principle. And I'm sorry I didn't do that in a British accent, but I care about you.
Why do I feel like I just like listened to a presidential debate or something? Like it's like in the argument back and forth. That's
drama.
That's some spicy CEO talk there.
Well, we're not gonna get these two at the Game Awards side by side.
No, those days are over. We're not holding hands.
Jeff took his shot. He hit it the one time. It turned out to be the one and only time that's possible.
Yeah. No, I feel like rarely do they get this spicy on CEOs talking back and forth, and that's
And it's one of those things where, I mean, it's all business shenanigans, and this all can be used to influence, like, the government's looking at Microsoft's acquisition.
I wonder if that's why they're being so loud about it. Yeah.
But it's so funny, like, reading this stuff from Jim Ryan, considering
everything they hold.
They're not thinking about PlayStation gamers, like. Do you know how many fucking exclusivity deals? Do you know how many times for Call of Duty you guys had exclusives?
Final Fantasy 7 still not on Xbox. For what reason? Because Final Fantasy 13, whatever the fuck, all those games were on.
Yeah.
And 15. Literally everything leading up to that.
So obviously this is all just business pumping out your chest and everything.
Like I said, I mean, as someone who's not on either of these people's payroll, I would love for these games to just be everyone can play them everywhere or whatever. So I'm not. It's like I wish that was the case. So I'm not like excusing it or whatever. But I mean, Phil's right that this even the 3 years it's more than what they have to do. If they own the thing, they can. I mean, 10 years ago, there never even would have been a question of like, are they going to keep putting it on their competitor's console? It would have been like, oh, they own it. It's dead. I mean, if this happened in the PS3 era, I mean, would we even... I don't even think it would be that much of a discussion. It's only because of Xbox's... Xbox has been way more open about that with like Cuphead and Ori and all these other things.
I know they have Bungie and it looks like they're keeping it on there, but I don't know. Part of me just believes that if Sony somehow had the money to buy Activision, this would not be a question, and Call of Duty would just be exclusive.
I feel that way too. I mean, you can't back it up.
I feel like the only reason we've ever questioned the will blank franchise be on PlayStation because it is Microsoft.
Yes,
they have done that before,
right? Because they're way more, seem to be very open ecosystem. They're okay with, like, we're gonna put Banjo and Smash, we're gonna put Cuphead and Ori and Switch, we're gonna do all this stuff, whatever. It's like they've
keep Minecraft multi-platform,
right?
Which is why we mentioned Call of Duty. Is like, okay, Call of Duty is the most comparable thing to Minecraft,
right? It's like it's still maybe a step down, but not by much. It's like it's like it's there.
I think it's fair to say Minecraft's the best-selling game of all time. So,
but that's the only one. It's like, maybe this goes to it. And I flip-flopped back and forth. Like I didn't know exactly what they were going to do. It wasn't going to surprise me if they kept it open because of the way that Microsoft treats it. But at the same time, you spent, what the fuck was it? How many bills?
Like 70 bill,
something like that on this deal or whatever. It's like, that's a lot of money to just keep, not use as leverage.
I feel like the right take is, at the moment, as far as like what Microsoft should do, is be like, okay, we really don't know. Like, either way makes sense at this point in time. Like, once they have a decision, we can look back, maybe like this may not have been the right or wrong decision with hindsight, but right now it's like, they spent all that money, so it makes sense to have it exclusive. But at the same time, that's a lot of revenue loss with like Call of Duty in particular, because it does do more on PlayStation.
Well, again, like, it's interesting. The industry is changing, but there are some things, it's like we don't know how much has it changed yet. Because, like I said, 10 years ago, I think basically choking out your competitor, like boxing out your competitor, whatever, and getting people to come to your platform would be completely without a second thought move over the revenue saturation base. I mean, I just think that's the way the industry was going. If Sony or Xbox had this big of a leverage opportunity, they would have taken it immediately. Mm-hmm. That still might be the case now, but there's at least a question of, like, and especially when you have Xbox, because I think all of us have been kind of trying to feel Xbox out. It's like, how much do you care about people specifically buying your box versus just buying your games, period? Because they give mixed messages on which one they care more about.
What makes it like it muddies the water a little more as far as like, okay, what could Xbox do? Is because the Game Pass, where it's like, okay, well, even if it is on on all the platforms, Game Pass makes an incentive to get all this stuff on theirs. Incentives for more people to subscribe, because I didn't have it on here, but I can't remember exactly when it happened. I can't remember. It happened before Jim Ryan's statement, but I don't know if I think it may have happened after the thing Jim Ryan's referring to, but saying, kind of reconfirming whatever. Call of Duty, Overwatch, Diablo, all those things will be on Game Pass day one, as well as PlayStation day one, as of right now.
Yeah, I mean, there was always like is just you can get this just with our cheapest hell subscription service instead of paying $70 over at PlayStation. Like, is that enough? Was that enough for Microsoft to be like, well, we're price gouging them? Is that enough, or do you actually want to go the exclusivity route? It's everything. It's like, when it came to like Elder Scrolls, I was like more firmly believing that it's like that shit's not coming to PlayStation. Call of Duty was more of it's just such it almost might as well be a service game, even though it's not. But it's like, it just kind of like happens all the time. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, and it is kind of like, this is the funniest way to get confirmation.
Yeah.
It's the reason Jim Ryan being salty.
Yeah, so here's the interesting thing about it. So do you think right now, because based on this, Call of Duty is going to be on PlayStation for the next 6 years. Mm-hmm. Probably about the time the console generation will end, funny enough. Roughly. Where it could, the first point where it could reasonably end. I think it's going to be extended because of all this stuff.
Right. But I personally think the supply shortage is going to make this a long generation.
I agree. But the first point we could reasonably maybe start looking. But regardless of that, Do you think that will be the end of Call of Duty on PlayStation? Potentially. I know that's going to be hard because 6 years is a long time and stuff could change.
I mean, it's you're talking about like the time where he's saying like they've promised to do it that much. Like you're saying, are they going to say, "Psych, we're going to keep putting it on your platform" after that?
Because they could. No, I think the contract is this way because they signed 3 more years in addition to the years that Activision are already signed to. So it's not like Activision had forever contract, like or whatever that is. Like, okay, there was a contract for this. We're extending that.
They just kick the can down the road.
Yeah, pretty much to where they're like, okay, for now we'll do this, but reevaluate then and seeing, I guess, where things are with their services and Call of Duty.
Really?
Call of Duty is still obviously the biggest franchise, one of the biggest games every year. But you can look at something and say, okay, it might be declining slightly, and we're getting a lot more service games that are taking at least some of the pie. It could be a different thing there where, and who knows, Game Pass might be also going down and just stuff with their stuff. So they may like, okay, we'll keep the Call of Duty revenue thing on there. Or it's, Call of Duty is not the biggest like money maker anymore, so that might ironically be the reason they just make it exclusive to them again. It's like we're not going to be losing as much money by doing this now.
So whatever cash it has left, use as leverage, basically.
Yeah, and Microsoft has all the power here.
It's honestly hard to say. I mean, so I really don't know.
The thing is that does suck for Sony, but it's good in general. Well, potentially, is no more fucking timed exclusive bullshit from Call of Duty on PlayStation thing. That was always in all the conferences.
You might just get that for Xbox instead.
No, that's what I'm saying, potentially. If they end up just doing that for Xbox, and that's fucking, then it's like, okay, that's lame.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to read into it too much because, like we said, he could be posturing for the government or for just an anti-Microsoft sentiment in general. But Jim Ryan at least seems to feel like it's going to stop coming. It's like he doesn't really sound like he thinks that it's like, oh, they're just going to keep doing it after.
I think his mindset's probably, well, I'd stop it.
So it's like, they probably, I mean, their mindset. I'm really going to turn the air down, but
yeah. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see just with these games, like even beyond Call of Duty, because obviously Activision Blizzard has numerous juggernauts that we could in a vacuum be like, it makes sense for them to potentially keep them multi-platform. I guess also good news for players is like Overwatch 2 is launching this year and it's just a service game, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. Also do find it funny that Phil's like, yeah, Overwatch, it's going to be on Game Pass. Well, yeah, it's free.
I mean, I'm not saying, what does that even mean?
I guess the thing is that could be cool for us if, isn't it that
well, wait, actually,
PvE supposed to be?
Yeah, I was about to say PvE is not free, so that's what he means.
Yeah, that'll be nice if we can connect that to the Blizzard whatever, depending how that works.
Yeah, sorry, that's not even that confusing. That's what he means. Yeah. I kind of forget that the PvE is paid. So.
And we will pay it, damn it.
Yes. I mean, you'll get it with Game Pass, but you still pay. But I'm very bad about that too. It's like, you get it free with Game Pass. It's like, well, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
But yes.
Luckily, my Game Pass thing ran out. I haven't used it in a bit. I just have 9 months of Game Pass cards just ready to go to put on there at any time.
Nice.
Alrighty, moving on. We're staying with Papa Sony. In more positive news for them, Ryan Dinsdale from IGN is where this comes from. Sony has announced a committed expansion into mobile gaming by establishing the PlayStation Studios mobile division and acquiring the untested Savage Game Studios to develop a AAA mobile live service action game. The new division will develop innovative on-the-go experiences based on new and existing PlayStation IP that meet PlayStation Studios' high-quality standards and will operate independently from console game development. Quote, this acquisition reaffirms Sony United Entertainment's commitment to delivering innovative experiences to new players around the world by expanding the digital platforms, said head of the PlayStation Studios, Holst. I don't know why I want an R there.
You want to go
Haydenhurst.
They're
Both start with eight. They're both HH. Sony announced back in May that releasing games on new platforms was now a key part of its business strategy, but it was largely thought to be in reference to its recent expansion to PC gaming rather than a mobile push as well. Quote, PlayStation Studios must continue to expand and diversify our offering beyond consoles, bringing incredible new games to more people than ever before. Acquiring the talented team at Savage Game Studios is another strategic step towards that goal.
I can't wait to finally get Sly 5 and it's a gotcha mobile.
Fuck yeah, man. Get all the ancestors, roll for them.
Yep, you gotta roll for them. Spend $20,000 and you still get them.
Yeah, I don't think that's the most surprising thing that they're looking at, because they're looking at everything at this point.
I mean,
going into the...
If you're a big game studio, you should have some finger in the mobile game pie.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit, personally, but
until they announce Sly 5 on mobile.
I cried. I mean, is there any reason?
How dare it?
Is there any, Jeff, give me any reason why I personally, Darby Hallman, right now should care as far as the games I'm going to be playing?
PlayStation's bottom line, Darby. So they can make more of the high quality experiences that we all come to know and love.
They're doing just fine, Jeff.
Yeah.
Can't think of it. I mean, is there any PlayStation mobile game that would get me to play it?
When they buy Square Enix, the Final Fantasy VII stuff.
I mean,
Ever Crisis.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna probably play Ever Crisis. So if that ends up being a PlayStation thing, then I guess they win by default.
God.
Do you care?
Not particularly. I mean, yeah, it's... I haven't even played the Nier one, which actually has, like, Nier story shit in it.
Lore important.
I mean, I didn't even play the Kingdom Hearts one. I just have videos.
I just even have a feeling that I don't think you're gonna suddenly get, like, fucking God of War mobile. Like, I think this is gonna... I don't even know what it's gonna be, but I think it's gonna be something... I mean, I guess they're probably gonna use the PlayStation IP in some way.
No, well, they said new and existing IP, so I imagine... As far as, like, not necessarily what,
might get a
Savage
Games rhythm game or some shit on here.
Yeah, do something basically like that. I have to imagine, Little Big Planet is prime for gotcha shit.
Yeah.
Something like that. And they say action, so, I mean, assuming, like, that's potentially an existing IP, like, well, God of War, Horizon, any of those could fit, like, some kind of...
It's impossible for that to not sound lame. Like, really lame.
I don't play mobile games.
Yeah. I'm very just kind of pessimistic against mobile games, unfortunately.
Yeah.
A lot of people love them.
Indeed. Shame.
Smart money move.
I got it. I know what's going to happen. Well, they said separate from, I guess, their console gaming, but fuck, I'll go along with this thinking. They're going to make a PlayStation MOBA game that's going to be playable on PlayStation, PC, and mobile.
Okay, that I was about to say I don't want to play it on mobile, but yeah, if it's
works like Unite,
then yes, then I'd be down with that. That'd be fun. Like the All Stars type vibe, but it's a MOBA.
They bring the PlayStation All Stars
Fat
branding
Princess,
back,
but it's
a fucking MOBA.
I would take it.
Yeah,
I'm not like anti-MOBA anymore.
No, I'm sure not. But and I would be. I would also be a little sad. I'd be a little sad if they did remake that branding for a MOBA and not trying for another fighter. It doesn't even have to be a platform fighter. Like even if they did like a 2D fighter, I'd be hyped.
Yeah, I agree. But I'd be Fat Princess and sit on some people in the MOBA. Just be only.
But you would.
Oh no, my kink has been discovered.
There is time to talk about one of the best franchises ever.
That's right.
Pokemon.
Not disputing.
Yeah.
You think that you're spitting like controversial flames here, but I'm not gonna. I'll agree with you.
Gamers would disagree with me.
Well, They're not here, are they?
True. We're not gamers.
For God, of course not.
We got a new Pokemon trailer today. Yesterday, as of this recording, we're like, yo, trailer tomorrow. And I'm like, whoa. Then there was a trailer. I'm like, whoa, cool stuff.
You said, whoa, cool stuff.
Yeah.
While staring at the screen, right?
Yeah, in the middle of the car place while my car is getting fixed.
Yeah,
That's when the trailer dropped.
He shouted it at the top of his lungs.
Yeah.
He was like, wow, that's cool.
Yep.
Like, wow.
Then I showed all the old people before Pokemon has come. Yeah, but this trailer had a lot of cool stuff in it. Mainly focusing on, we'll start there, the 3 different storylines that were teased / talked about in the last trailer, or one of the last trailers, whatever. Going over the Starfall Street story that it is focusing on Team Star, which is a rowdy group of high schoolers that it's just like a high school biker gang. That's typical in a lot of, especially like Japanese media. It feels like. So just having that here, I've seen a lot of people are like, oh, they're still going the lame, not world-ending team route. Like, this is fun. It's with the school vibe. It fits.
But they want the world-ending thing.
Yeah, people that are trying to take over the world.
I don't like that. I think that's more lame.
We're still probably going to get that anyway.
That always ends up happening anyway. Sword and Shield, there's definitely someone wanted to fucking destroy the world at some point.
Yeah, Chairman Rose.
Yeah, the CEO did.
Yeah. It still happens.
Yeah.
This is not from the evil team.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah. But I think it's fun, and I think what's also cool is that they have their own. We're not sure exactly how it works on this, but they're called Team Star, and if you look at the map and the thing they showed there, they have like little gate things that go into their area, and looking at the world map, there seems to be 5 of them. And the star they show has 5 points on it. Wow.
What?
And apparently, they say in the website, you're battling the leaders. Well, you go through and you battle the leaders and everything. And then when you're fighting them, they're on top of a car. And they're teasing that the car is going to have some significance to the actual fight. Which we know from leaks and from pictures of that they have released. Should have had this already loaded because my computer is being slow as fuck. On an off topic thing, Darby, I'm going to have to reevaluate taking this to get Prague Power tickets on Saturday. This thing being slow.
Yeah.
Very slow.
Just take your whole PC to our friend's house.
Yes. Load. Yeah. Picture of the car, and it's obviously like the engine is alive. It is a Pokemon.
It's a Pokemon. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. I'll show you once this is loaded. What's also cool, they have little artwork for each of the different 3 storylines, and each one of them features a different starter. It's cute. Yeah. I'll show you those once we get to them. The Victory Road story, which is going to be the typical, gym story. Going and get the 8 badges. We meet Gita, the chairwoman of the Pokemon League, who could be the champion. I'm not sure. The way they make it sounds like it could go either way as far as her being the final opponent, as far as that goes. Or she could be the bad person. She could be the bad guy.
She look like a JoJo character.
Yeah. And they also showed Brassius, who is the grass gym leader. And a couple interesting things about this that they showed off is they're bringing back those like the gym challenges from Sword and Shield. You remember we had to do silly shit like make Wooloo roll down the field and hurt them.
Vaguely.
And we had to do like the little water puzzle.
Yeah.
They seem to bring those back by Jesus Christ. Fucking load. By what they show off with the grass leaders is you like just fighting Sunflora or whatever and hurting them up. Doing that before battling there. A couple other things of interest is something that was a rumor that definitely seems to be confirmed with this is that a gym leader's ace is not necessarily going to be the type that their gym is, because they show
crazy
Sudowoodo, who is a rock type, but he is Sudowoodo is a tree, so you would think it's a grass type. And he even made a joke like, this is the Trulorudo or whatever, something like that. and use the crystallizing thing to make it a grass type.
Right.
So that's going to be the thing. Their ace, they're not going to be that, but they're going to make it.
They're gonna make it. That's fun.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, it also makes you kind of more guessing of what their actual ace is going to be, because even if you just kind of have some cursory knowledge of like the new Pokemon that are in the game, if you know their type, it's like, okay, it's probably going to be this based on like what's got promoted and
It's
all
a
that
fun
kind
way
of
of showing off the mechanic too.
stuff. Yeah. Oh, I know it's going to be hard to see.
Is that the car?
Yeah.
Nice.
And there's the engine with a tongue sticking out of it.
Pokemon's just gonna be a giant ass car. I hope you get that Pokemon.
I know you can't. It's not the car. It's just the engine. Apparently, it's like little spider leg tentacle type things on it. So that is neat. I'm surprised they didn't just outright, because it's obvious that the Pokemon just officially announced it and give more
That's a little mystery. I like it.
yeah.
You know, it's like you can't quite see it. I like it.
And also the
More
path.
things need to be left to the imagination.
True. I think they're doing a good job because
You're not, because you're looking up everything. They are doing a good job.
Yeah.
The Pokemon
I'm giving
community
credit
is
to them.
not.
Hey, that's their fault. I have no self control. I know this.
Continue.
But yeah, they've only probably shown less than like 20-ish Pokemon, like maybe let's say about 15-ish, out of, based on what leaks are saying, about over 100 Pokemon.
New Pokemon?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Counting that's also counting like some of the weird different form things maybe, but I count those as new Pokemon.
Sure. Yeah.
So
Dub.
yep,
Oh, yeah.
they're doing a good job of that. Might get a little crazy towards the end, but we'll see. They also showed off the Path of Legends story, which is the third one, which is about the treasure hunt that apparently is the big thing at the school. They show off your little friend you're doing that with, and you're going around and you meet the new Pokemon Claw. It's Claw, but with an F at the end. And a crab guy. He's a rock type Pokemon. I wish he was not just rock, because that's lame.
You big boy though.
He a big boy. Well, usually normal sized boy, but then you meet B-Cloth. So something that shows they're bringing back something, or at least something similar to it, from Pokemon Sun and Moon. Because in that game, they had totem Pokemon, which were treated as boss Pokemon. And that seems to be the case here, where you meet some of... I think they call them like Titan Pokemon or something like that. Where there's just a giant-ass version of these Pokemon. Which is kind of like the alpha Pokemon from Arceus. So hopefully maybe you can catch some of these and you just have these giant-ass Pokemon.
Yeah, it could be.
Probably not. I'm just gonna go ahead and assume you're probably not gonna be able to catch these things, because you're gonna have to straight
Just
up beat
bite
them.
them.
Yeah. But they did show, maybe not to the level of alpha Pokemon, but the trailer did pretty much confirm that Pokemon vary in size, like from the same species.
I hope they stay like if you just get a big or a small one. I hope when you throw it out, it is also like big or small.
It did that in
Like
Arceus, so I have no reason to believe it's if they're showing different sizes, they're not doing it here.
Or like if you play against your friends, you'll have like slightly different looking of the same.
Also, let's see. Also, let's talk about the new Pokemon Darby. We talked about Cloth, but the other new ones they showed, Sewerledge and Armarouge. They are both fire type Pokemon. They are exclusive. They are version exclusive. I think I have these mixed. Yes, Sewerledge. I think that's the right one. Is going to be. Let me try to Google this real quick.
Sewerledge. Mega Man ass characters.
Yes, they look like they're straight up from Mega Man Battle Network, and I love it. Okay,
Yeah, I
got it mixed up. But this is Sewerledge.
Yeah, I like
Fire
okay.
Ghost,
Hell yeah, nice.
exclusive to Violet.
Nice.
And then we have the other one. Yeah, that guy.
Armarouge.
Yep. Who is exclusive to Scarlet.
Tell because the armor.
Yes. And we know from leaks that the reason these are exclusive, it's kind of like what did we? I can't remember if we had one. Did we have the big? I think I've asked you this before. Did we have the big apple pie dragon?
No, I know of it. I don't think we had it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason I thought we did. What happened with that last gen is it has like the little form of it has 2 evolutions that you had to use an item to evolve it, and it has 2 different evolutions, and the items to evolve it were exclusive to versions, and that is what's happening here. These 2 have the same pre-evolution, but an item, presumably an item, will evolve it to these forms.
That's fun.
All I know is, regardless of what version I get, one of these fuckers is going on my team. That's like, these are honestly one of the first Pokemon where I feel confident saying, okay, you're on my squad.
Yeah, they're probably gonna be real good if they're exclusive and making a big fuss battle.
Yeah.
You did not put a time code on this, and I hate you.
I'm sorry. You guys said about Pokemon. No, I didn't.
Then it's not showing up on mine. Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait. It's anonymous beaver. Oh, probably maybe that.
I don't know. I might not.
It just that someone's viewing this called anonymous beaver.
We got hacked.
Yeah. What was I about to say? Yep. So those Pokemon are cool. Probably be on the team. I'm not sure which one I want to go with. But since you are part of this equation too, are you leaning one way or the other?
Well, it's weird because with the legendary, I like the Scarlet one. With these ones, I like the Violet one.
Mm-hmm. My rule of thumb is at this point, as I'm in my 20s, don't let the legendary influence you.
Literally, like we're not going to use them ever at all, right? Especially in our Nuzlocke.
I mean, I guess the legendary influences a little bit more potentially in these games, just because you're going to be seeing them a lot because you're going to be riding them.
Yeah, true.
So
then Violet, I guess if it's just like these 2 or whatever, I like the Violet one a good bit more.
Plus the ghost type on brand,
so of course. I guess the only thing is it sounds like everyone in our group wants Violet, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't even know how much. Y'all don't really trade and do much. I never see y'all do that very much, so I don't know.
Well, the problem is I'd be more for trading. The thing is, at this point in time, I go through it so much faster than they do that there's no time to trade because I'm already beating the game by the time they get to anything I actually would want. And
it's not surprising.
Yeah, well, because they don't finish these games.
That's it.
And we can't trade during Nuzlocks.
No, yeah. I like the Violet. I mean, I like Violet as a color better. It has a ghost fire person that sounds badass.
Final thing related to Pokemon, real quick. New feature, Darby. Oh, finally, it loaded. See,
tongue.
Yep. The new Let's Go feature.
Let's go.
You can now have not now. There's something happening. You can have your one Pokemon walk beside you out on the field. They've kind of shown that during trailers, but you can pretty much take that Pokemon and tell them, let's go, and point them in a direction, and they will wander away from you in that direction and potentially pick up items. And if they run into a wild Pokemon, auto battle them and defeat them and get you experience and items and shit.
So it sounds very good for Nuzlocke because it's just easy leveling up, right?
Just easy grinding, though, depending on how it works. But the potential of them being killed.
I was wondering, can they get killed or whatever in this auto battle feature?
I have no reason to believe why not.
Yeah, well, that would be dumb if we killed some of our Pokemon that way.
Yeah, but I think this is a nice feature, especially as it just gives more interactivity to the Pokemon that follows you.
Yeah.
And assuming it's pretty snappy with the auto battling, it'll just make grinding easier.
Do you have to watch them do it, or can you go off and do something else?
They pretty much say you can pretty much walk away.
All right, that's good. You can only do it with one Pokemon at a time. Basically.
Yeah. I think it's a one person time maybe walking, but they should have shown the screen multiple times where your whole party of 6 is out. So it might just be kind of like Arceus when you throw the ball out and they're just kind of sitting there, maybe interacting with each other a bit.
You all go fight.
Yep.
I saw someone one of their first comments was, "What if he kills a shiny?"
Yeah.
So if he said it out, he kills a shiny.
Yeah. Also, during last week, they revealed this little fucker.
Yeah, I did see the trailer for him.
Yep.
I like him. He's gross.
Graffae.
He's gross. I like him.
Yep. He has a finger. He's gooey.
Yeah.
And uses to draw graffiti everywhere.
He's a weird boy. He's cool.
Normal poison type.
Is that not boring? You said normal rock was boring. Is this not boring?
No. The other that crab is just rock. That is its only typing. This is normal and poison.
I thought you were just like normal. Okay.
Yeah. It's normal to type.
He's a normie poison.
Yeah. They just at some point deciding to just stick normal on random typings to make them dual type. In my mind, it doesn't make any fucking sense. But you do you, Game Freak. It makes the typing slightly more interesting. Yeah. Yep. And I think this guy will probably evolve. So maybe he'll evolve into cool. Also, something important to point out is he's a graffiti man that looks like he's wearing a hoodie. Nice. And that is 100% intentional.
Nice.
He is Kyle Bossman.
Cool, Greg.
Yep. All right, that is Pokemans. I continue to be excited.
Pokemans! It's going to be here before you know it.
Yee. I'm going to have to beat God of War before it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
It comes out like a day. No, not two. It's like a week.
You'll beat God of War in like 3 hours somehow, so it'll be fine.
True. Speaking of games I beat in 3 hours. Not really. Cyberpunk 2077. More like 40. This comes from Ryan Dinsdale from IGN. CD Projekt Red has announced that Cyberpunk 2077 is getting DLC based on the Cyberpunk Edge Runners Netflix series later today. As in, it's out now because Spark was like yesterday.
Is it out now? Hey, the DLC's out now?
This DLC's out.
Hey.
Not the big one.
This is not the big one.
Yeah. But apparently this might be significant. I should have looked more into it. I'm sorry. The developer kicked off his Cyberpunk Edge Runners edition of his Night City Wire live stream by announcing the DLC and its release today. The DLC will seemingly be a story-focused expansion that lets players take on the role of David Martinez, the protagonist of Edge Runners, in a tale taking place alongside the events of the main Cyberpunk 2077 game. It also acts as patch 1.6 and will be the final major update coming to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions of Cyberpunk 2077.
Interesting.
And that's not all the stuff they announced. We'll just get through all this and talk about it. They announced a new expansion, Darby. Phantom Liberty. It is the only expansion planned for Cyberpunk as of this time, according to the CD Projekt Red, and an exclusive to, I'm just going to call it Next Gen for clarity, Next Gen and PC. And Keanu Reeves will return as Johnny Silverhand.
Hell yeah.
And they also announced a new game within Cyberpunk and on actual mobile phones called Roach Race. It is exactly what you think it is.
Okay. But DLC, I am stoked. I think it'll be cool. I mean, yeah, I enjoyed Cyberpunk and especially the world and everything. Certainly enough to be pretty excited about getting in with a big expansion that's being made super far after the fact that hopefully has learned some lessons gameplay wise and other things to go into it. Like, I think there's a reason to believe that this might go smoother than the full normal game, as far as like the launch and everything like that. So, and just like, I don't know, I really vibed with the world, even if some of the other things were a little more disappointing. So I'm super down to get back in, honestly, personally.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm just kind of looking at this stuff to make sure I know what's in this patch. I can say there are 3 new gigs. I'm not idea like how close they are to the Edge Runner stuff. A wardrobe function. So, you don't have to worry about stats. You can just look however you like.
That's great. Because I definitely fashion. I was fashion over function in Cyberpunk.
Same.
Big time.
Released 11 new weapons, including a fucking chainsword. Let's go. Cross progression, some Edge Runner content, which just some secrets and stuff. So it may not be anything too crazy. And yeah.
Okay.
As far as that goes for now, which I think makes sense considering it's just in a Shadow Drop free update. Yeah. Especially when they have the Phantom Liberty stuff coming.
That stuff's definitely probably not enough to get. I'll wait until the big thing comes.
Yeah, and I didn't say Phantom Liberty comes out in 2023 at some point.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
I'm excited. Yeah, I'll jump in. Like again, as I mentioned before, Cyberpunk's a weird thing to where I definitely, in a weird way, I seemed like really down on it. but it's partly because the expectations are high, but I also seem to like it more than the majority of people.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's fair. Like, it deserves, like, a tinge of disappointment in the conversation about it, for sure, or whatever. But the game, as bare bones, was still fun. It was still, like, you know, a very fun experience that I have very good memories of. Lots
Character
of
world still very good and very cool.
Yeah. And I think it's a rich vein. When I was done with it, there's, like, so many threads and stuff, and I'm like, the world is just huge. You could just do a bunch of things with this, you know, whatever. So, like, you could do a bunch of DLCs, but, you know, it might just be getting one, which is probably fine. They need to move.
I'm not surprised because I can't remember if they even said they were still doing this expansion. Like, expansion's still coming, because I think we talked about it like a week or so ago. Kind of forgot this was happening.
Yeah.
That I would not be surprised if they didn't do anything. Or at least not major, because they spent all their time doing this. Or if we did, it would just be the one.
They had to spend like a whole another development cycle just fixing the game.
Yeah, exactly. I think they wanted to kind of fix things, add, you know, the right amount of content, make it up to players, and have one hopefully meaty expansion, and then just move on.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah,
and I mean, I'll be okay closing the book on it. It was fun, but it was like, but I'm also like, all right, Witcher 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Witcher 3 was quite a while ago, so let's go. I still have the expansions to play, so I still got Witcher content to get.
No, I want them to take their sweet ass time on it. I do not want them to rush Witcher 4. You know, it's like, I'll play that in 5 years. That's fine. 6 years.
7 years.
7 years.
Yeah. All right. Darby, are you excited / ready / going to play Assassin's Creed games that are coming out?
I mean, Jeff, you know me. You know me.
You
know
you.
Me and fucking Assassin's Creed. You just can't get me away from them, Jeff.
Yeah.
Just, you know, fucking Cassandra out there, like, being whatever she is.
Gladiator?
There you go. Love it.
Yeah. Anyway,
not a chance in hell, Joe.
Yeah.
It'd be a cold day in hell.
So, Darby, we have the Ubisoft Forward coming up on Saturday. I'm sorry to say, ladies and gentlemen at home, we are not going to be reacting to it. Partly because Darby's out of town. I'm doing other stuff, and it's freaking Ubisoft.
This is worth it. I'm going to live stream it on my phone. Here we go.
But we are getting Mario plus Rabbids during that thing, so it will be worth it for that alone. And we will be talking about the stuff in the next podcast. But because this is a Ubisoft-related product, it'd be leaking.
Of course. It wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be right if it didn't.
Yep. The main thing that leaked is Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is presumably set in Baghdad, and I couldn't find the character name when looking. It's apparently a character that's in Valhalla that people really like. And he is going to be, I don't want to say his name is like Basim or something, but I might be wrong on that.
So they're around the same time period, I guess.
Yeah. But I think it's like 800. But yeah, this was apparently originally a Valhalla expansion that just kind of spun off into its own game, which would explain if a character from Valhalla was involved.
Twid.
And after it leaked and the picture or whatever it leaked, Ubisoft's like, okay, yeah, this game's real. Look forward to it at Ubisoft Forward, which is kind of good for it because it gets people more excited.
I wonder, is the leaks that it's this year or is it like next year?
Next year.
Okay.
At least nothing that I think they would have announced it already.
Last year? Or was it
2 years.
That was 2 years. Yeah.
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're gonna take 3-year gap or 2-year gap or whatever instead of just a 1-year gap.
Well, don't worry, Darby. They will quickly remedy the whole gap situation because they're apparently, according to Jason Schreier and Steven Totillo, is that Totillo? Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as and other people, there are more Assassin's Creed games coming, and apparently being announced at this showcase.
Churn them out. It's a factory.
Yep. But yeah, I'm sure this next part I'm about to say, people are okay with considering Mirage the thing. But the earliest these next 2 games I'm mentioning are not coming out to like 2024.
That's still not that long.
Yeah.
Considering Mirage.
Project Red which is set in Japan. Finally, we're getting that Japan game.
But Ghost of Tsushima already happened. They already lost. They lost the chance.
And Project Neo/Hex, which is set in during the latter stages of the Holy Roman Empire, revolves around witch trials. That sounds like an interesting setting. I think also Jason Schreier mentioned for Neo Hex that it was originally slated for 2025, while Red, the Japan one, was 2044, but Hex might have already gotten internally delayed to 2026. Which, again, I doubt anyone's going to be too upset about because, well, that'd be 3 Assassin's Creed games in 4 years, so I'm sure fans will be okay.
Yeah.
But here is good news for Assassin's Creed fans. Based on what it sounds like people that know stuff are saying, and just the picture of Mirage is going back to old school Assassin's Creed, like a general vibe where you're just an actual assassin. You have the assassin attire and all that instead of a Viking or a gladiator who does some assassiny things occasionally.
Okay. Do people? I don't know with Assassin's Creed. Do the majority of the people want that, or is it just like, you know?
I think Assassin's Creed. I think a lot of people are okay with the direction Assassin's Creed is going, but Assassin's Creed has been big for a long time, so there is a big part of the fan base that would like it to come back. Even like people that prefer the Valhalla Origins style of game, I imagine, especially if they're announcing all 3 of these, will be okay with one going back to the roots style game. Because odds are, I have to imagine, one of, if not both of the other 2 are going to be the Valhalla style kind of game.
I just don't know how they produce so many games when they're all so fucking long, and somehow just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of boring recycled content is that like part of it that way.
Yeah. I felt like we felt it a little bit with Valhalla with some people that they were starting to feel the fatigue a bit.
I felt like just even the people I follow who like Assassin's Creed, I felt the will slowly leave their body from Origins through Valhalla. It was like they really like it, but it's like still really like it, but god damn, it's like so much. And then they get to Valhalla, it's like I can't finish this. It's like they Ubisoft wears people down with this shit.
Yeah,
but it still sells a lot, so I don't know.
Yeah, we will have to see.
It's just too much. Much.
This is a couple years in between.
Too much.
Alrighty. Time to talk about Halo. And how disappointing it is.
Forge, though. That's cool again.
Ryan Lesson from IGN is where the story comes from. He made this story. He made all these facts happen.
Whoa, thanks, Ryan.
Halo Infinite is finally getting Forge mode, launching on November 8th, 2022. And the full release of online campaign co-op will now arrive on the same day. Sadly, though, split-screen co-op has been canceled entirely. In a new update, developer 343 announced details of its winter update coming on November 8th, which comes with some long-range modes. Forge mode will allow Halo Infinite fans to essentially create their own content, build a new map with a sophisticated editor, and sharing them among the community. Arriving as a beta, we're still not entirely sure on included features, although leaked stuff apparently looks impressive. 343 Industries is also launching 2 new multiplayer maps on November 8th, which will showcase exactly what Forge can do, as they were made entirely in Forge mode. The winter update also sees a full version of online campaign co-op finally roll out to all players, allowing you to team up with your buddies and tackle Halo Infinite's campaign together. Are you finally going to play that campaign?
Nope. Probably not. If I needed friends with any interest in it, probably made that happen.
It's funny. I felt like if this had launched with it, I feel decently confident to say like you. Well, I probably would have joined in. Like you and Alex, at the very least, would have played it.
100%. Yeah, it needed to come out at the launch of the game. Honestly, the launch of the game probably needed to be delayed again.
Well, I also realized, that's definitely not happening because campaign you would have to pay for. Yes. You don't have Game Pass, but yeah.
Yes, not happening.
So a lot of reasons I bring this up is I think the part of the more interesting discussion is just how did Halo Infinite get here? Because as I reminded you recently, and probably something that will be remind listeners, this won the fan voted Game of the Year at the Game Awards last year.
Yeah, which I mean that especially the fan vote thing is probably just going to be the whatever's hot at the time. It's gonna be like
I agree. But at the very least, at the time, people were very excited, happy with what was going on with Halo Infinite.
The launch wasn't that bad. It just didn't last very long. It was like, because I mean,
it's like it kind of died over a night in a way. Like,
I mean, we played it for like a month, and it was fun. I did have fun or whatever. But like, even in that amount of time, it's like there was really only a handful of maps, handful of modes, and it quickly got to the point where it's like, okay.
Well, and I think based on what I've seen,
what's going on here,
campaign for a lot of people wasn't up to snuff, or I mean, it was maybe more in line with what you could expect after 5, but people were kind of hoping
it was not. It seems safe to say it was not some big new crazy step for Halo. It was not like this groundbreak. We were talking about like Halo needs a God of War moment. It's pretty safe to say like nothing like that happened.
No, but even like with a game like Halo, even if the single player is not up to snuff, the multiplayer can carry it to a pretty big subset of the audience. The problem is we're 11 months later finally getting Forge mode.
It's all about timing. It's the timing of this. It's just too far later with nothing else in between. Like people like us who probably would have played this and probably would have enjoyed it and everything, and maybe still, I don't know. But it's like people just moved on. It's just and nowadays you gotta be like Fortnite type thing where like just keeping people like going. For the most part, you can get away with it sometimes, but it's just like Halo has already lost so much of its cachet. It was just like primed to lose it again if you didn't keep it up. You know what I mean? If you didn't keep the players like there, you needed to like retain them. It was a difficult situation because they had already delayed it so many damn times. If they delayed it again, that would have been its own host of problems, but it may have still been the best thing to do in the end. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw you like, ooh, when I mentioned the Forge map things, the maps. Reading some fan things, and I understand you'd have a different perspective because you have not paid attention to the game. I saw some people very bummed about this because apparently the maps have not been coming. So people were very bummed to hear, oh, we're finally getting new maps from the creators, and it's something that's from the creator tool and not something that's unique that only they can make.
Yeah, I would just say ooh about Forge being in the game at all. I'm not even talking about the map or whatever. Just Forge was fun. Like it's like most of my time playing Halo back in the day was just dicking around in Forge.
Oh no, I remember that. Yeah. Those were goofy fun times.
Yes,
yeah. But that is the bummer. It's like, yay, finally new maps. But yeah, it's made in the creator thing where
it's probably going to be a little lesser. I mean, no matter how good the tool is.
Yeah, where anyone could probably make those levels.
Right.
Not something like you with the actual engine could make.
The only thing is, like, I am interested in, like, dicking around Forge and stuff. Do you have to pay full price for the game to get Forge? Like, Forge is probably not going to be free, like, multiplayer, right? I don't know. I mean, the multiplayer is free. I just don't know if Forge would go in there. Because it's probably not worth buying a full game over, but Forge is fun. You know, I doubt I would play it for that long, but it's fun to mess around with, especially if it's like very robust. It's not like I was good at making shit. It was just you would just get in there with your friends and do dumb shit.
Is it? Apparently, it's being this may not be 100% fact, but this is what it's kind of reading like. It's considered part of the multiplayer thing, which is free to play. So Forge mode, you might be good on.
Okay, sweet.
But don't take that as fact.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still not. It's not enough to save the game. I promise you, I'll probably play it a few times and then probably never touch it again.
Yeah. Shame. But at the end of this Halo conversation, I think I think it was you mentioning it last night or whenever we talked about it. It might be good to just put Halo in the cooler for a bit. Just kind of set it aside. Don't worry about it.
It was already in the cooler. It's putting it back in the cooler because it's like they tried to have its big revival and it's not working. So I agree. I think it's time.
Yeah. I mean, I guess still, as long as there's enough people to, I guess, maybe make it work, still do update for Halo Infinite and don't completely burn those people. I mean,
sure,
but don't get ahead of yourself and start working on the next Halo.
The concept of a sequel just makes me exhausted because I just don't. I think it's
But
time.
I think because then they may not even try for a sequel because since this is free to play, they'll probably just keep on updating Infinite, if anything,
and for the multiplayer at least. But
yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
The campaign's not free, so
yeah. Definitely stop with the campaigns for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't made one people like in 10 years. Is that accurate to say?
Yeah, I think it's time to move on from Halo, sadly. Other news?
Other news. First one. NIS America has announced they are localizing a couple games, including, Darby, let me know if you heard of any of these, and I know the answer. Void Terrarium 2, Process of Elimination, Monster Menu, and Grim Grimoire Once More.
I'm only interested in Process of Elimination. What is this game? I want to watch Don Casanova play Process of Elimination.
Oh, pull up the trailer. This is the main reason I have this on here, because I want to play this game.
What a good name for a game. So this is an old game?
These are games that have come out in Japan, at least from my understanding. But they announced, the NIS America side announced that they are localizing.
Dang, this might not be easy. Please do this.
Cool. So yeah, this is a visual novel about a bunch of detectives solving murders, and one of the detectives is apparently the murderer, and this is my shit.
We got some Danganronpa Phoenix Wright ass shit.
Yeah.
But the name is just so funny.
And apparently, based on screens, it might have a little board game strategy element because it showed you moving pieces in a screenshot across a board. So I'm curious how that exactly.
So is this a one-time story that you're going through a story and one of you is the killer, or is this it changes every time?
I have absolutely no idea. I tried to look up more information, but it was hard to find because it's a
little amorphous.
It's a very niche thing that's only been in Japan up until this announcement.
It feels Nocia. Among Us E.
Yep. So
I like the art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the character design and the art look cool. So yeah, that's coming out early next year apparently here in the America. So yeah, this is one I'm gonna keep an eye on. The other ones look fine, just kind of not necessarily my thing. I don't think your thing either.
Neat.
Yep. Next one. Mario Kart Tour is removing its gacha pipe. We'll now have a rotating shop. So Darby, I know you, the mobile game lover, you said it earlier.
Love it glued to my phone.
Yep. You know that Mario Kart in particular, very bad with microtransactions.
It's a mobile
terrible.
Game. It's a mobile game.
I think I saw people say to get Diddy Kong, you reasonably had to pay $40.
Jesus.
Probably. But yeah, apparently it's been gacha, but now they're just going to have a Fortnite type shop. That's all the stuff so people can at least select what they want.
Nice.
And this stuff is expensive to begin with and yada yada yada.
That's good.
Yeah. Stuff's still crazy expensive. The good news is the thing that we care about the most from Tour would be tracks.
Yeah.
We're getting that shit. Though I'd also like them to add the characters from there. Give us Pauline and Diddy Kong and Funky Kong and stuff.
Why not? We're being cowards.
Yeah.
It's just it doesn't even change that much.
SNK and Capcom are both apparently interested in the return of the SNK vs. Capcom series.
Could be cool.
Fucking do it.
Do it. Just, if you're quit being interested, just do it.
I kind of forgot until this statement happened and people were talking about it, how many fucking SNK and Capcom games there are. I don't know the exact number, but there are more of them than you think. And especially when you get reminded that there's SNK versus Capcom, and then Capcom versus SNK, and it's based on who is making the game.
Oh,
what company is making the game? Yeah, their name is first. So in this, it sounds like SNK would potentially be making the game.
Huh. Interesting. I want a new Capcom versus something else. I'm okay if Marvel vs. Capcom's dead, whatever. I want Capcom versus Disney.
Yeah. Capcom versus Kingdom Hearts. Just so we can insert Cloud in there.
Or Capcom versus Marvel versus DC.
Yes. Versus Bamco.
Versus Bamco versus
Sega.
Breaking Bad
Yeah,
versus Friends versus Frasier.
Featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series. And Knuckles.
And Knuckles. Yeah.
Ignore the fact that we mentioned Capcom and Sega in there, so they'd be in there anyway. Ignore that. That's
So we just want you to make sure. We just want you to know
that your memes are still your dreams, but they are real. But yeah, I'm all for all this crossover shit. I just kind of hope, because I think this is the case for almost all the SNK Capcom games. Capcom is pretty much mainly Street Fighter. With maybe a couple other guys. So I'm hoping they expand, like if they were to do this, expand on it. Though I get it kind of makes sense because SNK, like all their big characters are fighting game characters.
Yeah, but if it's Capcom, you should branch out.
I agree. Sony and Tencent now have a 14.9% and 16.25% stake, respectively, in From Software. They're like, we're going to put a little more money in you. And I hardly bring this up because it's not the biggest stake in the world. To remind people, no, From Software is not going to be exclusive to PlayStation now.
It's 14%.
I know. I saw some of those stakes. Not a lot of them. To be fair, but want to make that clear.
I think this is just a purely money move. It's like these boys over there make a bunch of money. Let's get a little stake in there.
Mm-hmm. But what this does mean is Bloodborne 2 is happening.
Yeah, clearly.
Yes. Take that to the bank.
I mean, it moves the needle ever so slightly in the area that at least Sony obviously recognizes that FromSoft's huge and prints money at this point. So. Yeah. Maybe there's just a little tiny bit of like, oh, maybe we should.
I'm going to be very curious whenever From Software announces their next game and just kind of see.
But it's
everything
also,
surrounding it.
Well, a big part of the Bloodborne thing is like, does FromSoft want to do that, or do they just want to make new shit? They've been making new shit. They don't really do sequels outside the Dark Souls ones, so it's like maybe they just don't want to.
Yeah, I would. It would be very interesting to see the reactions if, like, we're at let's say PlayStation has a showcase this month, hypothetically speaking, and you see the PlayStation Studios logo come up. Like, okay, it's like, this is the PlayStation exclusive game, whatever, back game. And then From Software comes up, and it's not Bloodborne in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, they publish one of their games, they can just publish another one.
That's what I mean. But people are so hung up, like, on Bloodborne. I'm just, a good bit of the fan base will be like, hey, something.
Yeah. They get over it. Yeah, it's FromSoft. I mean, there would be a little bit of
I think it partly depend like what the vibe of it is, because part of the reason people like Bloodborne in particular is the vibe of it,
for sure,
is how it stands out compared to other games. So it'd be interesting to see, and funny reactions. And finally, for other news, there is an official Elden Ring manga, and it is a comedy.
This is real?
It is real. I have read the first 2 chapters that are out. It's not good.
Oh,
I mean, so here's the thing about it, and it's a lot like a lot of the stories. There have been plenty of manga and stuff that are kind of like this, where it's just I don't even want to say this is an isekai, because it makes it clear like that that it's someone from like our world going into it. It's just the Tarnish is just an idiot. And some of the characters have more personality and everything. It's just like it's just kind of going through necessarily the early beats of the story of Elden Ring, at least so far. Like, it's cool to say like, oh, it's that enemy that most everyone's probably going to see at the beginning and stuff like that, but there's not really much to it. Really, it's more like, oh, this guy got hit by that knight's, that once you first walk onto the shield and just flies very far, and he's like, oh, that hurts.
Well, it just seems like it's just made by some random manga company that's just making like a jokey Elden Ring thing. Yeah.
Maybe other people like it more than me. I'm not impressed by the first 2 chapters. I can't imagine you would like it.
Yeah.
Now it's time for main topic.
I don't know what's about to happen, and I'm intrigued.
I don't know. I was inspired, so we're gonna do from now to the end of the year betting special.
Wait, I'm sorry. Say that again.
I got inspired to do a little shenanigans, so I have 10 bets for you to make that regard stuff that happening for games from now to the end of the year.
Oh, fuck. Wait, does this have to do with their Game Awards betting special, or is this just something else?
This is something else.
Okay.
I decided to do it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Put my dumbass takes on the.
So a lot of this
on
stuff,
the line here.
the style of the bets on here are kind of different than the ones we normally do in the betting special. Some of them have to do with direct spoilers for games we are going to play.
Oh.
So what I'm planning to do is that during the end of the year discussion is go over these results. I have no plan for what, like, if you get this amount of bets right, what happens. Yeah, we'll forget. But I have 10 of them.
I'm excited. I love Jeff bets. Love me some Jeff bets.
All right. First one. Will Kratos die in God of War Ragnarok?
It's like a speed thing. It's like, you're on the clock. What is it? Because lightning, I was like, I wonder what I would say.
And I'm just going to go ahead and put this on here. Not the normal God of War where he dies, he goes to hell and come back thing. I'm not going to count that.
Yeah, I think they're
like at the end, he is just dead.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
I do think so. Okay, especially, I think they've talked about this being, they don't want this to be a trilogy. They want this to be 2 games. I think yes.
Which Pokemon starter's final evolution will be my favorite?
But you never have favorites of anything in your life. You love everything.
I have my favorites.
So it'll take you like 5 years to pick a favorite.
Yes, but I will do that off camera. Out of Sprigatito, Fuecoco, and Quaxley.
I have the fired starters are the ones that I feel like are most likely to transform into something stupid or boring or generic. I think the cat's gonna be in 2 legs, and you're gonna get real pissy about that. So I'm gonna go with Quaxley.
All right.
Do you already know what the 3 are? What they all are? I mean, I'm sure you do at this point with all your leaks.
I have some idea, but not really.
Okay.
I have like general theming and stuff.
Do you think what's my logic sound?
Yeah. Will we go to the moon and or hell in Goat Simulator 3?
I like it. I like it. I like this a lot.
And I double checked, and for what I can tell, you did not go to either of those places in 1.
Okay.
It is one of those things like I'll Google if we don't do it, but I just plan on us playing these games and hopefully discovering ourselves.
If we just like summon Satan or something, that doesn't count as going to hell.
No, we actually got to go to hell.
Okay.
Or something that is strongly reminiscent. I could be a little loosey goosey with it, depending on context.
I'm gonna say yes.
All right.
I'm thinking more the moon. I'm thinking the 0 gravity.
Yeah.
I'm thinking just the like just jumping and floating and shit. Yeah. But I hope it's hell.
Yeah.
I hope it's hell.
In High on Life, will Justin Roiland play more or less than half the weapons?
More. Is he not going to play them all?
We've seen a couple of the weapons where he does not voice them now.
But he does voice more than one, at least, that we've seen, right?
Probably.
Oof, I don't like that. Maybe what if he only voices the one? Oh well.
Now this is gonna be a weird one. That who knows if I'll be able to say the results on the actual thing, but you know what? I decided to throw it in there. Will they wait until the till close or / the end of the game being Gotham Knights, to reveal that Bruce Wayne is actually alive?
So you're saying will they just wait? Will they wait till the end?
Like, will it be roughly at the end of the game? I'll have to check.
So you are just 100% like just completely not buying them. That he's dead. I mean, that's fair. I don't either. But I'm just.
You can also just say you buy that he's dead and put that on here. I'll allow that.
It's such a meme that he would be alive. Like, part of me does wonder if he's just really dead because it's so fucking obvious. Like,
Reminder. I know this is a different studio, but reminder, in Arkham Knight, it was fucking Jason Todd under that mask when they said it wasn't, and it was the most obvious thing that people decided in 3 seconds.
so they've already done a Batman fake out death in the same series already once before?
Not really. They just had this whole thing like, oh, this is like with Arkham Knight. Oh, this is the crazy new villain we came up with. Everyone's like, it's Jason Todd, aka the Red Hood. It's like, no, it isn't. Game happens. Oh, it was Jason Todd. We gotcha. It's like, okay.
I'm going to say he's actually dead.
Okay. I like it.
I don't really feel confident in it, but it's just so damn obvious that I'm just going to, I don't know. I'm probably wrong.
All right. Let's see.
And it could be it's one of those things like they end up being saved by something he did before he died or something.
Okay.
You know, and that's like,
okay, so Mario plus Rabbids Spark is Hope.
mm-hmm. Good.
We got Rabbit Rosalina in there. We have not seen Rosalina in there. Is Rosalina being controlled by the villains? And we are fighting her. I brought this.
That would be awfully fun.
Weird hooded space god looking thing. That could not be the final boss, but potentially Rosalina in disguise.
Am I allowed to ask? I mean, I guess you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but was there any in the original game, was there any character that had a rabid version and not a normal version?
Okay. The only yes to that, Donkey Kong, which ended up being playable in the DLC, and Wario and Waluigi, but I will point out that those were enemies. None of the playable Rabbids counterparts were not in the game. I'm
gonna say yes. I really like that. I think that would be very fun
because this part of me is like
they're doing all this galactic shit. It's like,
you can't have Rabbit Rosalina and all this glad shit and her not be in the game, and that just kind of makes sense.
It would be lame. Yeah,
I think that would be a cool thing to happen.
That would be a cool twist. Yeah. Like, why is this enemy so powerful?
Yeah, my honest hope is that is what's happening with Rosalina, or if they do something that's different but cool, then obviously I'll take it. But Rosalina is going to be the main protagonist in the DLC they already announced because they mentioned new heroes. That I would bet money on.
I'm just glad that they're going back to the Galaxy style, like using that for a spin-off. So
God, I'm so excited for that game. And see more this weekend. Let's go. Okay. Number 7 out of 10. Will Skull and Bones open critic score be above or below 60?
That's a good number. That's a good number to do this at.
I was fighting it. I contemplated 70 for 2 seconds. I'm like, you're just gonna pick under in a second.
Yeah, 70 probably would be a little too high. I'm gonna say over.
Okay.
I think 60 is pretty low for modern video games. Like, I think you get into the truly awful territory there, and I think it's gonna narrowly avoid the truly awful because I think it's gonna be a simple enough game that I think people are reviewing it. It's gonna be like, it has good ship fighting mechanics. There's not enough there, but the ship fighting mechanics are good. You know, like good enough. You know, I think it's gonna have that. So I'm gonna say
gotcha.
But I think it'll just be a unmemorable game.
Right before we do our end of the year special, I will check the 10 most recent reviews for Sonic Frontiers. How many times will I see the phrase Shadow of the Colossus?
Oh, very good. Very good.
And I just want to say, when Easy Allies have this bet, they stole it from me.
Yep. Getting ahead of that. Oh, Jeff, that's a good one. He said 10 reviews.
This is what the basic Easy Allies 10.
Yeah. I don't think any of them are going to say it more than once. I think you just mention it.
That's fair.
I don't think it is. So it's never going to double up. I also don't think that every one of them is going to do it or whatever. So it's like, definitely we're looking at.
I just want to make it clear. Yeah, clear. I'm trying. I'll let you decide this, Darby. Because I do this to make it kind of feel like more fair when you don't have anyone like competing against. I do my within whatever. I have him within one here. Do you think that's fair?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I like it. It's definitely shooting in the dark.
Yeah.
So definitely under 10. But I do think it's gonna happen multiple times. Like they're not gonna be able to help themselves. I'm gonna say 6.
Mm.
That might be high.
I did check and just make sure, like, okay, is this something that might happen? Looked it up, I was like, oh yeah, a bunch of previews are saying this.
It could be low, who knows? But 6. We'll go with 6.
All right, Darby. Right before we do our end of the year special, I will go on DeviantArt.
Oh, dear God, don't.
Which of the new Overwatch 2 launch heroes will have the most art? Sojourn, Junker Queen, or the new unannounced Fox Girl, which is supposed to be launching that day? And her name's apparently Kimiko or Kiriko or something.
So it's launching in the day that you're checking this or whatever?
I'm going... So it comes out October 2nd. I'm going to be checking it like right before we do our end of the year thing. So it has time to build up. Otherwise, Sojourn or Junker Queen would have a big advantage over.
I think my queen will have the most. I think Junker Queen will have the most because I think she has the lead time to build those up. I think people are real into muscular buff lady to step on them, all those things or whatever.
Naturally.
So I feel like Junker Queen was just more of a flashy thing. Sojourn's just an awesome character, but Junker Queen is like bombastic and loud and fucking everything. So I just think there's gonna be more people excited to draw her or whatever. And I've already seen a fair amount of awesome art.
Yeah,
from Junker Queen.
Part of me feels like if there was me putting on this bet, I probably would have chosen Fox Girl, just not knowing, just because I just have a feeling she's going to be more traditionally cute.
I don't know how much. I don't know if it's one of these things that like. The majority of the DeviantArt stuff is all done at the very beginning and then drops off a cliff or something. But I was just thinking she wouldn't have enough time.
That's fair.
Even if I agree with you, she probably will be. She probably
in the long run
now will probably be there or whatever. But I think at the time that you check, this is too close to her release. Was my mindset.
Fair. Okay, Darby, you have nieces. Are they still into Paw Patrol?
I believe so.
Okay. So you've seen some episodes, right?
Yes.
So you have some knowledge of said series.
A little bit.
How many racers are going to be the upcoming game Paw Patrol Grand Prix?
Oh, Lord.
I give you within one.
How deep are they going? Is Mayor Humdinger in there? Did he make the cut? That's the questions we have to ask here, Jeff. Oh, boy.
I looked at the list of upcoming games. I saw, I was like, I gotta do something with this.
Weird little evil blonde kid boy, blonde haired kid boy, I don't know the name of, did he make the cut?
I don't know. I didn't look.
He's always up to nefarious shit. I mean, at least I think there's 5. Are there 5 dogs? I think there's 5 dogs. There 5 dogs are in it. It's like, how much past that do we go?
I'm assuming Main Boy. Do they have a little boy?
Yeah, Main Boy will be there. I also don't know his fucking name because he's irrelevant. The pups are all that matters. And Mayor Humdinger. Don't forget Mayor Humdinger.
I would never forget Mayor Humdinger.
I think Mayor Humdinger's in.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with did you give me a within something?
I gave you within one.
Okay. I can't think of too many. I'm gonna go 10.
All right.
Yeah.
Unlocking those.
But if they'll put my boy in, then it doesn't matter. Void.
Well, Darby,
I like this, Jeff. That was very fun, very entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Always enjoyed delving into your game betting mind and the dark, devious places that we go. Getting degenerate. It's the best part of this podcast.
Yep. It's where we shine.
Absolutely. Well, good podcast. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
We'll be back in about 2 weeks for more shit.
Yep. Trying to think if there's anything we can say like, oh, that's coming up. Oh, Splatoon's coming up. I think I'm going to be waiting on that.
You won't be done with Xenoblade by then? No. Probably not.
Work, man.
Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll be talking about things. We'll have something to talk about. It'll be good.
Yep. Might. Like a what? You know? Nintendo Direct next week. Let's. I believe
this.
Hey, well, there are two people that like. Hey, Jeff Grubb's one of them.
Continue.
Yeah, Jeff Grubb and Nate the Hate, two people that generally get things. They're very good at the very least. They upfront like, hey, we don't know exact dates, but we know the general idea, and they bring it to like next week. So, I believe.
Yeah, I'm a leaker, and I can tell you there will be a Nintendo Direct at some point. Mm-hmm. That's what my sources are telling me.
Yeah.
Just before the end of the universe, there will be another Nintendo Direct. I know. Miyamoto told me.
Hey, remember, dear listener, when Darby's right, make sure to come back to our podcast for more great leaks.
Come back for them leaks. How we just exposing it all. There's also video games. There's gonna be more of them.
I don't believe
I have it on good authority that video games are not over. I know.
Miyamoto's so happy.
Bye.
Bye.